As a storehouse of cultural riches, the BNZ Art Collection has had a significant role in the development of Aotearoa's art history. It played a part in forging the careers of young artists of the day and in cementing the status of established artists. It is widely understood as the most important corporate collection in New Zealand.
This collection has been enormously important, I think, not only for artists who've had the opportunity to be in it and have had their work introduced to a really wide audience as a result, but also I think it's been important in terms of that really concentrated collecting that Mcleavy did in the 1980s. So we've got this fantastic snapshot of what was going on in the art scene, which is unlike any other collection.
It was certainly one of the more prominent of the public collections, which was such a feature of the time. And of course, all these years later, it's beginning to aerate the general culture as these collections are broken up and bought by other people. And so I think it has helped to educate the public about New Zealand art. In that regard, I think it is an important collection as part of the picture of the maturing of the visual art scene in New Zealand. It very much is a snapshot in history.
To a large extent, public collections weren't funded, as well as the Bank of New Zealand was able to fund the purchase of art in the 1980s, so they don't have that bandwidth that the art collection for the Bank of New Zealand does have. So I think it's a very unique and remarkable collection for that.
In some of the early press we did when we announced this collection, I referred to this sale as being the equivalent of, say, the Auckland Art Gallery swinging open the doors to its storeroom and saying, who's the highest bidder? Everything's for sale. I felt a little self-conscious about having said that afterwards, but really that is quite literally the quality of the works here, and that is why this is so significant.
The BNZ collection is really a tangible reflection of Peter Mcleavy's legacy. You know, it's a body of work that he amassed over a short period of time, but it's largely, stayed together for, 40 years. And today we can look at it and reflect upon Mcleavy's role in the development of New Zealand art, the support of New Zealand artists, and also his really astute eye.
It includes some of the greatest works by many of the nation's finest artists, ensuring that it will live on as the works move into new collections with fresh mandates. No doubt these collections will proudly claim the heritage of these works, once held in BNZ's esteemed collection. The legacy of the BNZ Art Collection will continue as the artworks move on to their next generation of custodians.
There's been shows of the BNZ collection, there's a book on the BNZ collection, and now there's an auction of the BNZ collection. So we're very, very aware of all these works in conversation with one another as part of the collection. After the sale, all those individual works are going to have a new life, and they're going to be in conversation with other things.
And it's become the responsibility of individual New Zealanders out there to be the custodians of the works for the future. And that's why it's so significant. It's something that I never thought I'd get to be a part of. And it's something that probably a lot of collectors never would have seen that they'd get to be a part of. But it's something that we're all a part of.
There's a real story being told here with these works. There's a legacy and a history. Many of the works that have come to us back to Webb's were initially purchased at auction and have the original Webb stickers from the time on the back. So we continue that legacy. Perhaps in the future they may come back again, but it's nice to see the influence, I suppose, that Peter Webb also had on building this collection.
The proceeds from the sale are going to go into philanthropic enterprises, which will help people. I can't think of a better thing for me to think about as a legacy of my work, that someone collected it, paid me very little for it, sell it for a lot more, and that profit doesn't just disappear into the Bahamas, but actually gets ploughed back into philanthropic work in our own culture. That seems like a very noble way of completing their journey.
All of these works will always be from this collection. That'll always be part of their narrative. And selling this collection at auction like this is really interesting because it's asking New Zealanders to put their hand up and really show how serious they are about looking after the artwork for generations to come.
It has been an honour for Webbs to represent this collection and present it to the nation. Kua whai wāhi tēnei kohi-kohinga toi a te pēki o Aotearoa ki te whakawhanaketanga o ngā mahi toi a tātai I roto I Aotearoa. Ka pēnei tonu te whai wāhitanga me te whakaohotanga o wēnei toi ki ngā reanga e whai ake nei. Nō mātou a Webbs te honore ki te whakātu I tēnei kohi-kohinga. Kia whai wāhi ai te motu whānui ki te tiro atu ki wēnei a tātou toi rongonui a Aotearoa.